What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today is all about the Rugby World Cup, and today's topic, as you can see in the title below, is should the Rugby World Cup be extended? Should we have more players or more teams in the Rugby World Cup? Now there's reason to why I'm asking this question is because there's so many different factors. Personally, my answer to you all is yes, I think it should grow. We're currently sitting at 20 teams in the Rugby World Cup. We're sitting with amazing rugby talent from all over the world. But what I find with the Rugby World Cup, it's becoming a bit predictable. And when I say predictable, is we expect the same teams to be in the final. We expect to see the same, bigger nations competing against each other in the semi-finals, the quarter-finals, all that jazz. Like a lot of you have said, some of you have said Ireland won't progress because of their history in the quarter-finals and all that jazz. We know South Africa sometimes have their issues against the All Blacks. Australia, we've got the France, New Zealand heritage. We've got all those different things. It's becoming predictable because of the past. Now, why I say bring more teams in to make it like 20, what's it, 5 groups, so it's 20 teams, so it's 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, so 4 groups. Sorry, excuse my maths, been a long day at work. So bring in another 4 players, make it 24 teams in this tournament. So one, it's going to develop rugby in the smaller countries, and these days these smaller countries we call have money to produce and grow and develop rugby. If we look at America, they're a massive country known for American football, baseball, all that jazz, but they have the money. And with the money, they can develop and get the right management, coaches in place in order to grow rugby within America. So they can take it to the next level. Yes, they're in the World Cup, I know, but it's just an example. Other teams like Germany, Norway, all those types, India, all those teams you don't necessarily think of or compare in Rugby World, they're not heard of. But if the Rugby World Cup gets extended and these competitions become more competitive in the lower level, we're giving an opportunity to develop rugby in these communities, create new sporting codes within where we never thought. If we look at India, well known for cricket, all those different teams, players have the opportunity. Who knows? For Norway, we could have the next Johnny Sexton. For India, we could have the next, I don't know, Sachin Tendulkar of rugby. You never know. And that's the beauty of the sport. And that's why I feel it is important to develop, firstly, rugby in the different nations, and to extend the Rugby World Cup, grow it. Make it a bit bigger, make it a bit more exciting. I know what you're going to say, probably say, but Gareth, that gives New Zealand, South Africa, Australia, England, all those teams, Ireland, another reason to destroy more teams. Yes, that might be the case and that might happen. But these teams are developing. They're growing, they're learning. And with more practice and all that stuff, they will get better. Now if we go back a little bit, you go to Wales, Ireland, even Scotland, Argentina, there were times when they were weak. We wouldn't have thought of them playing competitive rugby. But they've got better, they've grown, they've had the right coaches now, and now look at them. Some are saying Ireland to the final. Some are saying Argentina, could they bounce back and be the dark horse once again to get into the semi-final? Could Wales take it all? Who knows? It's possible because as teams are developing and getting better and better. And I feel if you give chances to like a Germany, India, all those countries that we never thought of, we could create quite an exciting World Cup and create hope where there once was maybe despair in those countries, because those players or people don't know what to do with their lives. Now they've got an opportunity to play a sport. So yes, we're going to be in a disagreement or an agreement, but I think it's something worth giving a shot, worth giving countries that like Spain who might have just come short. We're all talking about Georgia maybe joining or some people are saying Georgia should be in the Six Nations because they're developing and getting better. Now think of all those other teams in that Pacific level also getting better, also developing, also growing. If we give them the chance as well, hey, we're having these awesome countries coming up from nowhere and growing and becoming more competitive. And then they can join the Six Nations, the rugby championships. And those players can form and go play in the European League, the Super Rugby, all that jazz. It's just creating hope for these countries and for these players. And not only that, we are seeing Rugby World Cup hosted in countries a number of times, the same countries. France, South Africa's hosted it, New Zealand a few times, France has just gone twice, England. It's giving these smaller countries a chance, or a country that we wouldn't have thought of hosting rugby, an opportunity to bring the sport. If I look at it as a South African, when the FIFA World Cup came to South Africa in 2010, it brought the country together. It united us in so many ways. And it brought tourism to South Africa, and it brought so many different personalities, and people began to speak positively about the country. Obviously we have our negatives and all that jazz, but it's not as bad as the media says. Now, introducing it into countries like India, Norway, Spain and all that, it's just creating another bit of hope for those countries, and I think it's definitely worth it. So for me, the positives are development of rugby within the lower countries, the hosting nations, so the countries are getting introduced, the people are getting introduced to the sport, and then it's creating a phenomenal player that we never in our wildest dreams would have thought of to play on the international level. And another example, if we look at, when I'm talking about the players, if we look at football, Wales had Ryan Giggs, Gareth Bale. Those guys haven't played in the FIFA World Cup because their team can't qualify. But with more experience and more growth, those guys will be given the opportunity, and then they will be able to play, like Gareth Bale for Real Madrid, Giggsy for Manchester United, and those different guys can have an opportunity. And that's just my thoughts. I know we were going to be agree to disagree on this one, but answer the poll above. Do you think it's worth it? Yes or no? And let me know in the comment section down below so we can continue this discussion, as I feel it's quite important and a positive change that could bring a lot of good to the world of rugby, and it could increase and grow, and we could see a team like America competing, or a team like India maybe surprising and beating bigger nations. You never know unless you try. And that's where I'm going to leave today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you can keep up to date with all future uploads. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.